Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion from Strategic Profit Line Trading, coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 29. As always, here's our disclosures. Since this is all for educational purposes only, I'm not providing any investment advice. This is not tailored to any one individual. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and all investments involves risk. Here's our agenda for the week. We got a jam-packed week with earnings picking up and a lot of volatility with a lot of speakers coming up. So it's going to be a fun week. I'm going to cover the news, go over the indices, and we have 156 companies reporting earnings this week. Here's the results for week 28. We went 3-2 in stocks, 5-1 in options, no entry on 6, and 2 companies closed in the zones on Friday. Here's an outlook on what earnings is going to look like this week. Like I said, earnings is picking up again. We started with the banks on Friday, and we're going to finish with them this week, and it's going to be a jam-packed week. Went ahead and I added our stocks, so we're 43 and 30. And for our options, we are at 83 and 19. Moving into our news for the week, starting with Monday, you can see at pre-market, we got manufacturing index report that's going to affect the U.S. And then intraday, we got Fed Powell speaking. So be prepared for those two, one report and Powell speaking on Monday morning for some increased volatility. Moving on to Tuesday, as you can see, pre-market, those of you trading futures and Forex, you will have volatility with the Canadian dollar pre-market. And then we have retail sales for the US. So all our volatility will occur pre-market into the open. New Zealand dollar will be affected after hours, and so will the British pound. Moving on to Wednesday, as you can see, looks like it's going to be a quiet day for the US. For the US, however, after market, the Australian dollar and the British pound will be affected. Moving on to Thursday, pre-market, the euro will be affected, and we have unemployment claims pre-market, so be mindful of that. And the euro as well is going to have a lot of volatility pre-market. As you can see, they got reports at 515 all the way to 545. Then lastly, Friday, we'll have our retail sales report and core retail sales report for the Canadian dollar. And that's going to do it for our news this week. Moving into the charts, starting with the S&P 500 or the SPX, you can see had another all-time high, and then the following day on Thursday, we gave it all back, and then on Friday, we pushed all the way up. We created an all-new time high and gave it back. So we're starting to show a little bit of resistance and supply up in the 5,600 area, whether or not we continue pulling down. So I'm going to still say we don't have supply in the S&P 500. However, on the demand side, I'm still holding this level. We're going to utilize the 5441 to 5400 even. Moving on to the NASDAQ. So as you can see, the NASDAQ looks a little bit weaker. Went ahead and made an all-time high, and then on Thursday, it went ahead and it gave it all back. And then unlike the S&P 500, you can see we attempted to move back up. However, we did not make an all new time high again on Friday and give it back. So the NASDAQ looking a little bit weaker than the S&P 500. And all that's saying is that money's moving out of tech and going, finding another new home. And I'm going to show you where that money is going. So moving on to the Dow Jones, as you can see, the Dow Jones has no supply. There goes some of the rotation moving out of tech into the Dow Jones, as the Dow Jones was a little bit stronger than NASDAQ on Friday. With that being said, the demand zone I have for you is 376.06 to 370.18. And here's where the rotation came. Finally, look at the rut. We finally broke our zone. So we can get rid of this guy. And as you can see, we got another zone up here that's holding already well. However, that rotation left from tech into the Dow Jones and the Russell. So that level for you on the supply side is going to be 2154 to 2221. And on the demand side, still have the same level at 1887 to 1847. Now, moving into earnings for the week. First company we're starting with is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has no supply. First demand zone I have for you is 432.96 to 424.69. Next company I got for you is BlackRock. As you can see, this is the level that's been holding. The first demand level I have for you is 756 to 742. In the event of an overshoot, this level has worked numerous times. You got the 721.40 to 708.84. And on the supply side, you got 861.24 to 899.95. Next bank I got for you is Service First Bank. On the demand side, I got 57.49 to 53.55. And on the supply side, 85.30 to 88.97. Next bank is Bank of America reporting earnings as well. On the supply side, we got 42.97 to 44.59. And on the demand side, 31.03 to 30.25. Next company is United Healthcare Health Group. On the supply side, 544.90 to 559.19, and on the demand side, 428.23 to 418.13. Understand that in the event of an overshoot, it has another level here at 408.81 to 397. Moving on to PGR Progressive. Progressive I have no supply for you as the all-time high was at 217.77. First demand level I have for you is 182.73 to 175.08. Next company is Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley as well. I have no supply for you on Morgan Stanley. And on the demand side, I got 93.75 to 90.52. Next company I have for you is good old Charles Schwab, who just bought out Thinkorswim this year, well, last year, and they just finished their conversion. On the demand side, 57.11 to 53.54. On the supply side, 82.82 to 86.77. Next, I got PNC Bank for you. On the supply side, 177.09 to 188.70. On the demand side, 141.92 to 138.55. Next company I got for you reporting earnings, Interactive Brokers, no supply as all-time highs were 129.19. First demand zone I have for you is 96.01 to 92.56. Next company is JB Hunt. On the supply side, 184 to 191.58. On the demand side, 142.45 to 136.85. Next company, HWC. No supply for you. I got demand for you here at 38.59 to 36.62. Next company is OMC. As you can see, this is the level that's been holding. On the supply side, 97.46 to 99.18. On the demand side, 80.08 to 78.28. Next company I got for you, Johnson & Johnson. On the demand side, 142.27 to 137.44. On the supply side, 163.47 to 167.83. Next company is Ally Bank. We are in this level, so watch how this plays out throughout the week. In the event it breaks it prior to earnings, we have a level here on supply at 46.55 to 47.62. And on the demand side, we got 30.92 to 29.05. This company is PLD. Demand side, 99.80 to 96.58. And on the supply side, 125.20 to 130.94. Next company I got for you, Synchrony Bank. Synchrony Bank reporting earnings as well. As you can see, all our banks are reporting, finishing up this week. 51.30 to 52.58 on the supply side, 36.89 to 35.22 on the demand side. US Bank. So on the supply side, 45.28 to 48.30. And on the demand side, 37.77 to 36.48. United Airlines. On the demand side, 41.67 to 40.07. In the event of an overshoot, we got 33.95 to 31.59. And on the supply side, 74.71 to 82.96. Next company I have for you is Alcoa. On the supply side, 49.79 to 51.37. On the demand side, 32.28 to, let's call it 30 even. Just understand that it has levels, 3 levels on top of each other. Pretty much just call it 32.25 all the way down to 26.11. Next company is DFS, Discover Financial. So on the demand side, Discover as well, 111.42 to 107, and then it has an overlapping level here at 107.68 to 104. No supply for you on Discover. SLG Realty, you can see this level has started to work. That supply level is 62.63 to 65.52. And on the demand side, 42.51 to 39.64. Which company I have for you is EFX. On the supply side, 289.85 to 368. On the demand side, 187.37 to 178.51. TSM, no supply as its all-time high was 193.47. On the demand side, first level I have for you is 143.55 to 138.65. In the event of an overshoot, you got the 117.95 to 110.81. This company's Domino's Pizza. On the supply side, 557.38 to 567.57. And on demand side, you got 429.12 to 412.36 with another level right underneath it at 409.78 to 389.57. This company is DR Horton. No supply for you as its all-time high was 165.75. First demand level I have for you is 123.22 to 116.15. Next company is Abbott Laboratories. On the supply side, I have 118.62 to 121.54, and on the demand side, 97.10 to 91.26. Next company, Blackstone. On supply side, 142.99 to 150, and then on the demand side, 107.27 to 102.49. Next company is Netflix. On Netflix, supply level here at 644.67 to 700.799. On the demand side, 575.37 to 542.05. Next company is PPG. On the demand side, this level has already worked, so be mindful of that. 123.56 to 120.06. In the event of an overshoot, you got 116.59 to 113.93. On the supply side, we got 151.80 to 159.26. Next company is AAR Corp. No supply as all-time high 75.04. First demand level I have for you is 62.22 to 60.07. Next company, Scholastic. On the supply side, 45.68 to 48.37. On the demand side, 27.43 to 24.52. Next company I have for you, American Express. No supply as it's at all-time high is 244.41. First level I have for you is 204.07 and 199.01. In the event of an overshoot, you got 188.31 to 184.22. ALV is the next company. On the supply side, 125.76 to 129.43. On the demand side, 97.82 to 94.37. Next company is Fifth Third Bank Corp. Supply side, 45.57 to 48.09. On the demand side, 31.49 to 29.96. Next company is Halliburton. Halliburton, this is the demand level that's been holding. You got 32.80 to 29.98. On the supply side, you got 44.02 to 46.92. The last company I have for you is CMA. And on the demand side, 24.65 to 21.39 to, and on the supply side, 66.24 to 71.70. As always, here's my contact information. If you're not doing so already, follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn for trades posts throughout the week and updates. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button. Till next time, happy trading. Be mindful, there's a lot of earnings picking up this week and a lot of news. So there will be volatility and it should be a fun week. Till next time, happy trading.